All right, welcome back. Multi-view drawing 4, page 123, the 9 drawings on here. We're working on drawing figure 5-68, the socket. Now, this one drawing, we're switching to millimeters or metrics here. So make sure you scroll all the way down and you download the updated metric template 3. That's the best metric template you can download and use. Unless you download that template, it's going to be a little bit hard for you to get your measurements right. So make sure you download Metric Template 3 to get the right measurements. And we're drawing this all in 1-to-1, means everything is drawn to scale. Right there it says all dimensions are in millimeters. A is equal 50.50 millimeters. So A, we're talking about is 50 millimeters, 50.50 millimeters, 50.5 millimeters diameter. It's 7 millimeters thick. Talk about the thickness from this point to this point is 7 millimeters. We know that B is 38 millimeters. Talking about this circle here is 38 millimeters diameter. We know that C is 25.2 millimeters diameter, here to here, going all the way around, times 17 millimeters long, with 13 millimeter diameter hole through it. Slot's equal to 4.5 millimeters wide by 8 millimeters deep. Let's talk about 17 millimeters long is 17 millimeters tall, right here. Your slot is 4.5 millimeters wide and 8 millimeters deep. We know that D is 6 millimeters diameter. There's a hole supposed to be right here. And there's 4 holes equally spaced all the way around the front. All right, so let's go to the drawing. Now, because this is a circular item, and the right side and the top view would not be give you any different views. You only need 2 views for this. All right. And basically what I'm going to do is I'll show you my construction lines. Basically everything lines up from the right side to the front. All you need to show me is your object lines, your hidden lines, your center lines, and your dimensions on this side. We know this is 7 millimeters. We know this is 13 millimeters. All right. So we know we have all of that dimensions. We got them all. But let's go ahead and look at what we're going to have to do here. I'm going to turn off my construction lines to make this easier to see. All right. We know the outside diameter is 15.50 millimeters. We know this circular diameter here is 38. And this is going to be your center line that all your circles set on. Your inside diameter is 13 millimeters. Your outside diameter on this one is 25.2. We know your slot is 4.5 millimeters thick, and you got 7 millimeters deep. And now let's go ahead and talk about when we go to, we hit escape. When we go and set up an array, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just delete that array and go back and redo it. All right. Now, I'm going to just draw that hole right here. 6 millimeters, right? That's the first hole up here. It's a 6 millimeter diameter hole times 4 holes equally spaced. That means they're going to be spaced all the way around here. Well, you could sit there and copy and move it all around and do all that. But guess what? There's an easier way. Go up here to polar array. Select my object. Hit enter. Specify the center point of the array. Now, when you do that, whatever the last array it was that was set up, probably yours, because yours array with you just getting it opened up in your login, is going to be the default array number, something like 6. All you need to do is go in there and go 4 tab. You need 1 row. Now here's what happens if you change that to 2. Now you see what happens when you change that to 2. Let's change that back to 1, because we don't need 1 on the outside. Well, if I can get my computer to cooperate with me here. Tab over 1. Everything else is good there. Go to close our array. And doing this circle here, make sure you have this open, because this is a slot all the way across. The outside circle here would be closed because there's actually a thickness of that that goes down below that. So you got to see that line on this outside edge, but not here in the middle. But it's 25.2 to the outside. This one is 38. The inside is 13 millimeters. Outside is 50.50. The holes on the outside are 6 millimeter. And there's 4 of them equally spaced. You need to be able to show them going across into here too. Now, because the hole on the back side is actually covered up by these hidden lines here, it's something called the precedence of lines. Your lines would not show, you don't need to show both sets of lines, because you got one set and they're right on top of each other. All right, so any questions? I'll be walking around. Talk to you in a little bit.